guys, Sandra here from Create in Spain. Thanks for joining me. I'm just going to do a little video on concepts at the moment to just go over a couple of things which you may find useful if you're trying to use an iPad for use with cutting machines. There are certain things that you might want to do. You might want to do a print and cut, or you might want to do a direct cut. I have it set up at the moment, so I have a fixed line width chosen. And you can choose different tools by tapping on your tool wheel, and you can choose which tools you have in your tool wheel simply by tapping on them and choosing something else. If I was to draw something, if I'm going to draw something, funny sort of leaf shape, there we go. And if I want to cut around the outside of that, it's pretty simple. It would make the most sense to import that into my cutting machine software and just do an outer line trace, or if I was using it on the scan and cut, just to print it off and use the scanner to do the outside line, or indeed do the inside line as well if you want to with that particular machine. If, however, I wanted to fill it with colour, it isn't quite so easy. Here, for example, I have an airbrush, and if I put my airbrush as my top layer, I've got custom layer there for some reason, I don't know why. I can, on my airbrush layer, I can airbrush in here. Oh, I need that a bit bigger, don't I? Let's make that a bit bigger, okay. So I can airbrush in here. But as you can see, I'm going to be ending up going outside the lines, which is a bit of a pain if I want a white border around my object, because I won't get one. If I wanted a white border around my object, the easiest way to get it is to select the pen line that you have. Okay, let's do that. And go to my colour and go for white. Okay, so I now have a white line. So I just need to take that layer and put it on top of the pink layer, and you can see my white line again. So that would be a way of doing it. You would get your white bleed area, if you like, your offset, without any further work. So you could theoretically trace that as a white line and get away with it. You can, if you need to, go to the settings in here and set the background to transparent. So again, that gives you the option for that line to show up reasonably well. Now, although Concepts has different pens and things that fill, but it's not a bucket fill. It doesn't work in the same way as a lot of art programs do. There's watercolour, there's a marker, there's pencils, hard and soft, and then you have pens of different widths and different types. But it doesn't have humongous amounts of pre-made brushes. You can buy brush packs if you wish, or indeed you can make your own brush packs. Now, let me just go into here and just start again with a new piece of paper. So I'm going to come in here with a new drawing. And for this instance, I want it to have a white background, so I go for plain white. And I want to make this a square in this case. 10.0, 10.0, and that will do nicely. You have the chance, if you want it, to have an infinite canvas on Concept, so you'll never run out of paper, but I tend to like to draw in the size that I'm going to be using, and a size which is convenient for me to know how it's going to fit on the card that I'm going to produce at the end of the day. So I will start off with a set size. So if I want to do a new pen tool, for example, I can go to my fixed width and I'll make it black simply so it's easy. And I can do some kind of doodle. Here we go. A doodle. All right, nothing complicated about that, quite easy. So I can then select this with the lasso and I can copy it to the clipboard, which is that button there. So it says it's now copied and I can now delete that. So I'll now go to my brushes, tap on there, and if you go down, I've got Sandra's brushes here. I can add a new brush and I go to the untitled. I can give it a name if I want to, don't have to. Now we have the brush type under here and I want a stamping type brush so I don't alter anything like this. Now here's the stamp source. I go to clipboard and there is my shape. So now if I do this, we can see what I would actually get. Nothing overly exciting, but I can now alter all the different properties of this brush. So I can make it bigger or smaller, whatever. I can make it change size according to the pressure of my Apple Pencil, etc., etc. And sometimes what I like to do is just do a random thing, but when I look at it, I think, oh, that's interesting. And so I might keep it like that. Go down and we've got the opacity variance. And again, according to the pressure, the tilt or the speed. And then I've got shape spacing. Now, because I can't actually see the individual shapes, I'm making the spacing greater. And you can play around with this. I mean, you can spend ages doing this if you want to. And then you have scattering, which makes things go either side of the base line, and you've got rotation. And basically, you can just play with this until you get the result that you want. So now when I come in here, I get that. Actually, I think that was fun. I might keep that one. I can still change the size of it here, so I can make it bigger if I want to. And do that. Okay? So that is how you make your brushes. Now, obviously, if I was to go back into this brush and I was to edit it and come into here, I can add another shape if I want to. If I put something else on my page, I could add another shape. And I can keep adding shapes, it's not a problem. Okay. So I was going to go into, oops, don't want to mess around with that one. I was going to go into the spacing. Here we go, shape spacing. If I make these a lot closer together, it ends up being a rather unusual pen. So let's see what I get there. There you are. Looks like I've got monsters, a two-headed monster, I think. That's how you make your own brushes and pens. And I said you can actually buy them to add to your collections if you feel the need. But on its own, the colouring options for concepts are not as good as the colouring in Procreate. If you want masking in the traditional way of masking, like you would get with, I think, Inkscape and GIMP and Photoshop and PhotoPaint and Adobe, then Procreate is the one that you want to look at. And that's what I'm going to show you next. Anyway, for this particular bit, this is it. I will do the Procreate as a separate video because not everyone wants to see both forms of software. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Take care now. Bye bye.